Yeah, I guess the one big question is when they do get good, will Derek Shelton be here? Will he be the manager, or is he just going to be the manager, kind of like John Russell was, to get him through this period, and then the next guy shows up?
I think that's a very real concern if you're Derek Shelton, or a very real point you bring up, because John Russell was here. He was catatonic. Clint Hurdle had to kind of come in and give them an injection of enthusiasm and vigor and things like that. And I think Derek Shelton's cut from much that same cloth as Hurdle. Well, you hope it doesn't end the way Hurdle's tenure did, where he was kind of sour and surly about everything. But Shelton's a rah-rah, kind of sun's always shining guy. But it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if they got good, they assembled a team maybe for him that they felt like could contend, and then they went out, dumped him, and said, we're going to find somebody that we think tactically is a little bit better, that does X, Y, or Z a little bit better than you, and kind of leave him, kind of by the side of the road, right, to hitchhike to another hitting coach job. I think this is very possibly Derek Shelton's first and only managerial job, so it's one that he sort of had to take, right?
Yeah,
there's only 30 of those jobs. Even if you know it's almost certainly a dead-end proposition, you're in a tough spot. You probably got to take it.
No question about it. Let's go out to Bill in Brookline. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well. I totally agree with your take on Shelton. I mean, statistical analysis is great whenever you got the dogs in a race, but sometimes it's got to be about feel. Just like Carl Nassib coming out, your boyfriend, Richie.
It is about feel, Chris. I think when
just
you're
letting the guy pitch. Let him pitch. What are you learning about Chase and Shreve? What are you learning about Chase and Shreve if he pitches there like he did and then gives up a six-hopper that happens to get through a seeing eye single that wins the game? You learn nothing. The guy's a journeyman. Definition of. You have a chance to at least learn something, and it's incremental, right? It's one small little piece of the story of JT Brubaker, almost infinitesimal, but it's still better than nothing. Like, did Jacob deGrom, when he was 26 as a rookie, did he just come out of the chute the best pitcher in baseball and one of the best we've ever seen, at least in this generation? No. That guy was pretty good right from the start, I'll concede, but he still had to learn how to pitch in certain situations. This is, of course, by no means me saying that JT Brubaker will be Jacob deGrom, but to be the best version of whatever he's going to be, it would help to be in those situations and be allowed to sink or swim. You don't get better if you get taken out, regardless of what the team's motivation would be for that move.
It would also help if he had the option of using spider tack, too. Let's go out to Mike in Oakland. How you doing, Mike?
What's up, Richie? What's up, guys? Listen, I just want to say two things on Shelton and Nutting, but I agree. I mean, here's what really upsets me the most. Stop lying to the fans. I mean, Derek Shelton comes out a couple weeks ago and says, our starters need to go longer in games. I mean, don't say that if you're not going to practice what you're preaching. I mean, there were ample opportunities the last 2 weeks for these starters who pitched well to go more than 70 pitches, and he takes all of them out. So I don't know, what's the purpose of him saying that when he's not practicing it? And I hope he's not the manager when the Pirates, or if the Pirates ever get good. I'm just not impressed with him. I don't know how much the upper management have input in this. I'm sure there's some, but I also think Shelton has a little bit of a leash also, and he really hasn't, in my opinion, done well at all in these decisions. And I want to mention Nutting real quick. I was reading a chat in the Post-Gazette a couple weeks ago with the beat writer Jason Mackey, and someone asked about payroll. What do they expect that they should be spending when the Pirates get good? And Mackey said 80 to 90 million. I mean, if that's the case, that's the same thing that was around what they spent, in the other regime.
Less.
I'm hoping it's going to be
less.
110, 120 million. Am I shooting for the moon there? Because if it's 80, 90
130.
million, I think it's fake promises. All right, take care, guys.
Yeah, I agree,
It
Mike.
should be at least 130. Should be at least 140 if they have a contender for a 1 or 2 year or 3 year window. If they spend 80 or 90 million when they feel like they've got a contender, then they won't have cashed the check that they said they were going to write, so to speak. That would not be good enough for me. As for Derek Shelton, I'll put the third member of the PM team over here real quick. Craig Riley pointed out Neil Huntington, his regime was still being allowed to conduct a managerial search, and Shelton was his number one guy, and then he became Ben Cherington's number one guy too. Like, that should almost tell you that if two different regimes looked at the same guy and said, ooh, I think he's the man for the job, maybe they were looking for somebody with a very specific skill set, i.e., he won't get in our way and push back when we tell him to do things.
Yeah, well, Derek Shelton's a good guy. He's a good baseball guy. He knows a lot. I've been around him a bunch at spring training, and not much last year, obviously, because of what happened. But, yeah, I don't know what the future holds for Derek Shelton, but the Pirates got to get through these next couple years in order to be good again.